Welcome to the 100 Master Coaches series featuring master coaches from around the world. Let's journey together on this 100 Master Coaches series, with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Ebru Goksu Yildirim is an empowering, creative and growth-oriented ICF accredited MCC and certified professional coactive coach. She has been coaching individuals, executives and teams since 2011, by staying true to her life purpose of unlocking potential. One of her key skills is being able to meet her clients exactly where they are, holding them there just long enough to show how resourceful they are, and to increase their capacity to grow. Now on to the show.
Hello, and welcome to the 100 Master Coaches show. This is Coach Mal, and today my special guest comes all the way from Dubai, UAE, originally from Turkey. Please welcome Ebru Goksu Yildirim. Give her a big hand.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so happy to have this conversation with you, and we've been looking forward to this, just bouncing off ideas and sharing our learnings with the other coaches. So it's a privilege to be here. Thank you.
My pleasure to host you on this show. And before we begin, let us just perhaps explore the space that you've been in the UAE, if I remember, for the last 16 years. Maybe we start there?
Why not? It's 1/3 of my lifetime, right? It's a good place to start.
I thought there's only half. It's okay. Let's move on. Okay.
What brought me to the UAE is the corporate job. I mean, my background is marketing and advertising, so I moved here to work for one of the multinational agencies. And it was exactly 16 years ago. And, wow. I had regional roles back then, looking after the Middle East and North Africa region, being specialized in FMCGs. I had the opportunity to work on so many blue chips accounts, brands. So that brought me here, my career and my drive for growth, I believe.
I remember as well that because you said all that kind of triggers this similarity that I have with you. I was from advertising as a base. I went from advertising to FMCG. This is probably something not many people know. And just like you were servicing a lot of blue chip FMCG companies. How was that life there? I know you call yourself an advertising girl, but tell us, how was the life then?
Quite creative, right? Okay. And it's a world of creativity.
Of course.
You work with talented people, and it's a very competitive and ambitious environment at the same time. You need to. So I had to develop the visionary skills to have a kind of bird eye view on things, and at the same time all the nitty-gritty. So the environment is very much a hustle and bustle. You just run around, but at the same time you need to center and anchor yourself in what you're doing as well. It's quite stressful. And, but in a way, when you see the outcome, it can be quite rewarding as well. In my transition, back then, I reached a point that what I used to do was no longer satisfying for me. I mean, I still love being surrounded by creative people. I still enjoy those creative outputs, brainstorming sessions, those think tanks, and so on and so forth, and the teamwork as well. Yet, coming to an understanding of my purpose in life and which values that I would love to honor in life eventually made me consider leaving the advertising world. So I had a quite similar role. I also worked as a 360 leader, business director, and so on and so forth. So it was quite hard to leave all this behind during the, when I was doing the thought process. once I was clear, the decision was, when the decision was there, it was easy to move and start over from scratch.
Wow. I'm sure there are lessons there, but I'm just going to jump into that coaching journey question, right? How did that begin for you?
I was lost. I was lost.
Okay.
You know, running between home and the office and the client meetings, and not knowing where I was heading. I mean, there was a moment that I had a chance to sit between me and myself and ask the question. So if I am to become a deputy GM or a GM of an agency in the next 2 years, how would I feel about it? What does it mean to me? And it meant nothing.
Wow.
When I knew that it meant nothing to me, I knew that I needed to dig deeper and understand what I'm passionate about. So I needed to become a better leader of my life, myself and my life, and also a better leader at work. And all that led to kind of soul searching. So I practiced so many different modalities. I learned different modalities, and I was like, okay, this magic is great, but there is a need for logic. So how can I explore something where there is magic and logic? And then coaching came to my way, and I was blown away with the impact of coaching. Then I started my coaching trainings.
I'm just curious, that mix of magic and logic. That's the first time I'm hearing it. It's so amazing. Tell us a bit more about that.
I believe that we work with the being and the doing of the person, right?
Got it.
In coaching, the main focus on the being of the person. There is a lot of deepening there. There is a lot of learning. So imagine a tree, so going to the roots of the tree, exploring the trunk of the tree and how the person is branching out. And it's quite intriguing. And it's so stimulating as well, mentally stimulating, because we need to sit in curiosity and receive and process things and use our gut and connect from our hearts and then process things in our heads. So in spiritual word, terms, it can be say like finding balance between the mind, heart, and gut. In other words, it's the balance between the logical mind and the gut and heart, which is the where the magic happens. I believe that the outcome is magic. So all the inputs that we are receiving, how they are processed in a coaching conversation, and then how the output comes out, the way forward comes out is the magic, because it's transformational, because there is change there. And it's so inspiring. I think it's one of the most creative professions available, present out there.
Yeah, now that you say it that way, it totally makes sense for me. it kind of connects with me this way. It's like the whole science behind it, which obviously it is part logic, right, with science. And then there is the art part of it, which is the creative being, that center, and going in and finding that clarity, and then understanding that consciousness into becoming the person that we are called to be.
Isn't it so magical? Isn't it like unlocking the true potential of the person?
Definitely.
So yeah.
I know that that's an anchor word for you, potential. And perhaps this is where we dive slightly deeper on that word, because there's something magical in the word, I reckon, with you, especially, Ebru. So would you like to share a little bit more about that?
I would love to. I mean, from a personal level, let me start from a personal level. I spent a few years in my life that I was not being able to live up to my utmost potential, and this lasted quite long, and there were so many limiting beliefs, I believe, or preconceived beliefs and fears even were present there. And so when it comes to my personal growth journey, development journey, overcoming those hurdles, barriers, helped me unlock my potential. And I'm very passionate about that. That's my life purpose in life, enabling others to also unlock their potential, be it in their personal life, to be there in their relationships and business life. So, and I believe that we can live up to that. So it's more of a systemic approach at the same time. We have a very complex system. And we are part of a very complex system as well. Once we start looking at all those layers within ourselves, around ourselves, and pay attention to that and do the needed work, then something emerges. And to me, that's the magical part, and that's the potential. So there is clarity, there is awareness, there is courage, there is compassion, there is care for the self and the others. There's an element of co-creation that leads to, releasing that potential.
And you saying all these things to a person like me who is already bought, sold, signed, delivered, a believer, how would you approach it to someone out there who is like, what do you mean, unlock my potential? I'm already performing right now at workplace, right? I'm already doing all these stuff, right? And I'm sure you've met people like that, right? They're like, what else can you do for me? I'm already successful. So I guess that open-ended question that I'm going to give to you.
So the person is whoever wants to embark on a coaching journey needs to be ready for that. True. We cannot enforce coaching onto anyone.
Agree.
I mean, I work as an executive coach. I do leadership coaching. So I now also work with teams. So part of my business is that involves corporate deals, and it is quite separate from my private practice. So when I go to organizations and sit with executives who believe that they have no area to look into to grow further, I think I ask a few questions. So what are the values that they're coming from there? What is it that they are so happy with? What is it that they're celebrating in their career? And what is their vision moving forward? So focusing on the being of the person again, who they are, how they developed so far, and their dreams and their vision for their career moving forward. Perhaps I will ask questions about those aspects of their lives or beings. Then we can dig in and understand what will support them to get there. And what will support them to shine bigger in the now as well. Yet if they are not interested in, there is no way that we can put pressure on someone to stay in coaching. It takes commitment. I mean, imagine that you're going to sit in front of a person and you need to trust that person. That person is a stranger, and you need to share things openly to be able to get the best out of this coaching engagement, which is a conversation, purposeful conversation. So if the person is not willing to be present in the conversation, then there is no reason to be there. And I believe that as coaches, this is where we need to take a stance as well. and inform our stakeholders when needed, inform the client when needed, inform the stakeholders when needed.
Nice.
And hold the mirror up as well. This is where we also need to stand up for the interest of our clients.
That's
courageously.
true. You know, I had this analogy when you were talking, right? And this analogy is like going to the dentist, right? If someone forced you and me to go to the dentist, we may not want to open our mouth, right? We're like, no, I didn't want to come here in the first place. So yeah,
that's a good
it's like that, isn't it? Because they must want to go there. Yes, on a dentist, there must be some pain. It's like, oh, I've got a toothache, so I need to see the dentist, right? Or maybe something they really want to go there because they want their teeth to shine, right? Just like what you said just now, shine, right? The word. And then they would go willingly to the dentist and pay the money, you know, and get that done. So yes, I'm with you on that.
And if I may add, one of the learnings that I got from my experience is that the importance of the importance of psychological safety.
Yeah.
Sometimes those leaders, regardless of their positions, right? We are always a leader of our lives. Yeah. So then they sit in front of a person who's a coach, through different engagements, they feel insecure.
True.
They feel that they are underperformers, or they feel that if they open up and share things, it may backlash. So they want to feel safe. That's why also it's critical to establish rapport and create a trusting environment for a person to feel safe there, just so they can explore. Otherwise, they may easily put their guards up, put a wall up, and then say that everything is okay, I'm good here.
Yes. So good that you're saying this. The fact that vulnerability is so important, but vulnerability cannot happen without trust. So that's what you're saying, the prerequisite of all that, building the rapport so that trust can be built and they would feel safe, that the conversation will stay there and not, as you say, backlash or backfire at them in a different scenario. Yeah. We'd like to ask, Ebru, through that journey of coaching, what would be your bravest moment? And I'm sure there would be quite a few brave moments of your coaching journey, but perhaps share with us your bravest.
There are a few moments and there are a few decisions that I've taken. And I think often the value or the sets of values that I honored were beginner's mindset and change, embracing change. I believe that leaving my career behind was one of the bravest decisions that I've taken in life. I mean, it was a senior role, safety, stability, status, bright career, future. Yet honoring what was so important for me and choosing that was one of the bravest decisions. I remember the very first month when I was coaching when I was in the corporate world. So I was an external coach. It was kind of a part-time job for me, and I did that for 3 years. So I had the regional role, traveling and so on and so forth, and then I was doing coaching. That was my commitment to coaching. Then I was ready and left, and I remember the very first month that I made as an income 1/20 of my previous salary, and I celebrated that big time. I was so proud of myself.
Beautiful.
And that income was so valuable and so precious. I celebrated that. Taking those, I believe, courageous steps by coming from a purposeful place was one of the things. And another one is that I kept going back to the training room. Yeah. So I was getting accreditations, but I was still going back to the training rooms. Often I was the most experienced coach in the room or one of those, and then receiving feedback and working with mentors and working with supervisors, working with peers to grow. And sometimes it hurts the ego.
Yes.
And it's a fact. So I believe that curbing my ego, banting that it was another courageous step that I took forward to grow. And the third one is coming back to what you said, vulnerability. The more I became happier with who I am, the more open I became, and I was okay to share with others my failures, my successes, my wins, my struggles, just so I could get the right support.
Wow. So many gems that you just shared, really. You talked about having mentors, supervisors. You talked about aligning what you do with your purpose. You talk about mini milestones and celebrating it. Oh my gosh. I'm just doing a mental note taking. Well done.
Thank you.
And when you realize that this was it, right? This was your unlocking of your own potential. Did you like set goals for yourself? It's like, this coaching journey, I want to be ACC by a certain time and PCC and then MCC at a certain time. Did you kind of do that, or you just flowed with how your journey went?
That's a very good question. And it's a thought-provoking question. And this is what I would like to also, if you allow me
please,
to the other coaches, who will be listening to this recording, especially the ones who are new to our profession. Coaching is not a hobby. Coaching is a profession.
So good.
And we need to treat that as a profession, as a business, for us to be able to contribute into the society. We all are here for a reason. Yeah, we all left our corporate jobs and so on and so forth for a reason. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yes,
so it's
same.
a purposeful business.
Wow.
And for us to be successful in this business, we need to have a vision. It's a business. It's a purposeful business where we support others. Before I left the corporate job, I was an ACC already. I was a CPCC and ACC already.
Beautiful.
And I planned everything. My website was ready. My business plan was ready because I've done strategy for years. Yes. Part of my background, I did the branding. So I worked on a channel strategy and I knew how to reach out to people.
Yeah.
I knew how to create an awareness. This may sound, yes, there is this element of being a business acumen, but it's not only about that. If I want to live a fulfilling life where I will live at my utmost potential, I need to use my logical mind as well.
Yeah.
And that needs dreaming up high, that needs envisioning your future and putting milestones in place. Otherwise, I mean, sometimes milestones are met or not. Yeah, that's flexibility and adaptability. Yeah. These are other skills that we need to know, but we need to see where we're heading to and how we will be heading there. And that's planning. And to me, part of it is project management. All those project management skills are quite valuable when we are launching our own business.
it kind of reminds me
I
being
see you
in
laughing.
advertising. Yeah, because I'm like, aha, it seems like Ebru is planning the launch of a brand. It's all of that,
Yeah,
right?
I've done it like 9 years ago.
So beautiful.
Yes, and I have a brand house. I worked on a brand house on my own. I hired a graphic designer back then.
Oh, wow.
You know, I worked with the website designer and an SEO agency and this and that. So everything was planned. Yes, yes, and not everyone may necessarily have this, experience. It was the advantage of, the benefit of coming from advertising, but it doesn't mean that we cannot outsource these, right?
Yeah.
So when we are not being able to think strategically, let's bring on someone. All leaders, all successful leaders, they always surround themselves and with others, and they delegate, and they get the right support system around themselves. So to coaches out there, yes, you may not have it, or you may have it. If you don't have the skills and experience, bring on others.
So true. And I'm reminded by what you said earlier. Don't treat it like a hobby, because what that means is if it was a hobby, then you will not be too strategic about your hobby. You may not be too serious about your hobby. You may be just doing it when I'm free, when I can afford the time to do it. So I guess there is that bit of, as you say, business acumen, that kind of logical thinking that has to be put into place, even as we think about how serious we want this, not just for ourselves, but for the people that we want to impact, as you rightfully said just now as well.
I totally agree with you. So there is the being part, the vision is there. There is the dreaming part, right? So in the being part, the values and the beliefs, the passion, it's like all the ingredients. And we take all those ingredients and start stirring, mixing them, to bake them, to make something out of them. And that's the dreaming part. And there is a need for also logic. Then the doing, for doing, the decisiveness is needed, commitment is needed, planning is needed, courage is needed, risk taking is needed, care for the self is needed, because it can be exhausting.
Oh, tell me about it.
I mean, as much as I do, having this, I see you nodding.
Oh yeah. When I took up this exciting podcast, the 100 Master Coaches, I actually didn't know what I signed up for, right? Because not just dressing up and putting makeup on for you and, appearing and spending 1 hour, but there's the post-production element, as you will realize in what we do in advertising, right? Is the editing, it is the making sure that the audio works, right? It's the slicing and dicing of the copy up there, right? All of that. Oh, music as well at the front and the back end. So that's lots of work.
And it takes mental commitment, emotional commitment, physical commitment, right?
The whole self, the whole 9 yards, as we like to say, and more, because it's your business. It's your business to know about it, to want to be involved with it. And I can tell you, bro, one of the things that I'm probably really weak at is knowing when to stop.
It rings a bell. It makes me recall some memories and years of life. And I think in this journey, one of the things that I learned is also, in the journey of life, actually, check out the signs and understand when to exit, because those exit signs are there. exit, 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 exit.
Some are
But the ego goes like,
warning signs, but we're not.
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we're not taking heed on the warning signs, especially, right? So, and you know what? We laugh about it right now, but it also happens to the best of the people we coach. I'm sure you agree with me, because the ones that we coach are the ones that are making a lot of difference in the organization. And they are very highly strung as well. So what we think would be some strategies to help these wonderful professionals get better in the holistic sense of their life. Ebru.
There's one saying in coaching, that you know, I'm sure you know, like, who we are is how we coach, who we are is how we supervise, and who we are is how we lead. So as managers, as leaders of organizations, I believe that there's an opportunity for us to invest in our being, and look in and see, what is it that I deserve, first of all, on a me level? What is it that I desire for? Where do I play small? If I am to, look at my relationships and connections at work, what do I notice there? What is possible for me and the overall system here? And how much of myself is present at work, right? All these are good reflection questions that we can ask. And at the same time, where do I need to grow more, that I can be at my best? And get in return what I deserve. Without a personal development, within the current circumstances, within the age that we live in, there is a limit for leaders to grow. They limit themselves. If they are to only focus on productivity, they are limiting themselves.
True.
And to be able to focus on positivity, they need to invest in themselves. Part of it is emotional intelligence. Part of it is relationship intelligence. Part of this having a systemic understanding. And if I don't work on myself, how can I have a better emotional intelligence for the stuff that I have around me, for my, contacts and colleagues, counterparts at work? So it starts with the me, and we can have all those certificates and diplomas from the fanciest universities out there, but it's never a career ladder. It's a career pyramid. So those who don't invest in themselves, those who don't build healthy relationships and communication-wise, not became as more skillful, they get stuck in their careers. Communication masters, relationship masters, the most emotionally intelligent ones are moving upwards. So stop hiding. I think the message is stop hiding, find the balance.
So good. So good. It reminds me a little bit of what the famous basketball coach from UCLA, John Wooden. And John Wooden, he has this pyramid. And of course, there are many key words over there. But the higher you go, I believe it's a development of a greater kind. it's like the higher you go, the deeper you must also go with your self-development. And I think this really aligns with what you were saying just now about how much our clients that we serve, our leaders, investing, not just to build their competence, but also to build their inner person. And so with that, they can have the depth to consistently grow and give into the relationships and what's important for their life.
I agree. So sky is the limit, right? And there is the earth. So how can I really get deeply rooted in the earth and keep growing towards the sky?
Mm.
And there is wind coming, and there is rain coming, and storm coming, and it's all okay.
Yeah, it will continuously come. Just like how our coaching industry and all the industry of the world were impacted last year, February, March onwards. I'm just tempted to ask you about what you have done to maintain that sort of growth for your organization or even for yourself, even through this not so certain times as we live in.
I mean, on a personal level, I decided to continue investing in myself because in the beginning of the pandemic, it became slower. So I saw that as an opportunity and to invest in myself. And that was the start of my MCC journey. I knew that I was ready. However, I was so stretched before and I didn't have the time to focus on that. And being a recovered perfectionist, I still have high standards. So when I embark on something, I would love to give. So I wanted to have the right time as much as I could, and be present in that journey. So that allowed me. It was kind of the blessing in disguise for me. And also, I started my coaching supervision training to become a coach supervisor. Nice. That was the second decision that I've taken, and it's a 1-year journey. So that was the second one, and then I moved all my business to virtual. So before that, part of it was face to face. So all my corporate business and private practice, I moved everything to virtual. All our coaching trainings, they also moved to virtual. So we adapted the change, I believe, myself and my business partners, quite fast. And that made a big difference. I don't feel like I felt like I was in the VUCA world in a way. So it didn't feel quite disturbing, besides not being able to travel and the lockdowns and so on and so forth. But on a business level, I didn't feel it strongly. And I saw that as an opportunity because that's the time where people need the support at most. So I did some pro bono work. I voluntarily participated in some projects as well. And I continue doing that from time to time, just to give back, because there is a need for coaches in the world. I believe that there's a beautiful quote from Dalai Lama, and I think it reads like, the planet doesn't need more successful people. The planet needs, healers, peacemakers, and so on and so forth. So I believe that also there's a need for coaches. And this is a time where we can thrive and give our best into our profession. And I saw that as an opportunity.
Love it. Opportunity to give, opportunity to grow, opportunity to reflect and evaluate everything that is happening in the systems, and an opportunity to become even more. What would be that one lesson that, if you could sum it for yourself, that you take away even from that time of change?
Connect with your essence. That was what I said. Keep coming from your essence, keep coming from what's important to you, and think differently. Be open to change.
Yeah.
It's stepping out of the comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is sad. I'm sure you have seen some organizations, they did not thrive too well in these changes. And I guess even for coaching, right? What do you foresee coaching needs to become in times like this?
Such a beautiful question. And hearing this question, the image that comes to my mind is kind of yin and yang. So there's brightness in darkness, there's darkness in brightness. I mean, joy cannot be without pain, and there's pain in the space as well, as much as there's joy. So many people are being redundant. I mean, projects are being cancelled, right?
Yeah.
Yet it's part of the change process. So I believe that, again, I'm getting goosebumps. And I think this is the message that I'm receiving. We need to have a more holistic and systemic outlook. Something is shifting on a global level, on multiple layers. And this is a very big shift. And of course, things are going to be in the air at times. We are not going to feel as stable as we used to feel until we land on the new normal. We are transiting at the moment. We are still in progress and process of this change. And some organizations can be very traditionalist with that. Some of them are leapers. Some of them are bridge breakers. So each organization reacts or responds to that differently. I see the future of coaching brighter, keeping all these in mind. I see organizations, being a coach trainer, I see organizations investing in their in-house coaches now. So under awareness and understanding and acceptance of importance of coaching is there. They are training their employees to become, in-house coaches. That's what I see. I see that the trend goes to more of team coaching and systemic team coaching now. I don't know what you observed. That these are the things that I'm noticing. I'm noticing that we're becoming like coaches without borders, because there is no limitation anymore, no regional limitation, no country-specific limitation. So isn't it an amazing opportunity that, I mean, today you and I'm sitting in the UAE, you're sitting in Australia, and we have this opportunity to connect and share. So there is no border anymore. So we can expand, we can add value anywhere in the world. That's what I see. But to be able to do that, we need to continue investing in ourselves as coaches. I see technology playing a very big role these days, and it will continue doing that. I mean, even there are some articles about, those robotic systems and apps and so on and so forth taking over. I don't know when, but it may happen. Augmented reality is one of the things that's creating an environment. So in absence of face-to-face exploration or conversation, how can we create that virtually creative experience for our clients? So I see the trends going to those directions, to be honest with you, to become more experiential at the same time.
I'm just so amazed at this one short question unlocks all that wonder that you just shared just now. Thank you, really. Thank you, Ebru.
Thank you.
And as you're saying that, we realize that organizations are inviting internal people, internal champions to become coaches, and obviously a lot more external coaches coming in to the industry as well. Very needed. What would be your master wisdom for the young ones out there today?
First, know yourself and own yourself. Be up for a challenge, for growth. You may feel slapped from time to time on this journey of change, because change starts with us. We need to unlearn some certain things to be at our best as coaches. Be present. Presence is so critical in coaching. It's so important. Have the right coaching mindset. Prepare yourself for sessions. Coach from your heart. Coach from your gut. Coach from whatever is available to you, around you, and in your client, not from your head. And it's a practice. And the more you work out those muscles, more powerful your coaching will become. Truthful, I believe. I believe that masterful coaching is like scuba diving. So when we start our coaching journey, perhaps we're swimming by the shore. It's safe, yeah. We know where we're at. We can see the mainland. Then as we progress, we may start snorkeling. So we dip. But we still are very much focused on the surface. How fast we can get to the surface. In masterful coaching, we know where the current is. We know where the light fades under the sea. And the body system is so powerful that we can go and dive into that, knowing that we will come up when it's needed. So trust the journey, trust in yourself, trust your client, and be present. Just so it will feel spacious, like scuba diving.
And don't forget to observe everything around you as you're diving.
Yeah.
Watching even the gauge on your oxygen level.
Yeah.
I have a new visualization, just linking scuba diving with coaching now. So I'm sure when people listen to this podcast, they will be amazed by what you just said. Thank you so much. You know, we've almost come to the end of our interview already. I wish this can go on. We were just flowing on this current, using your words, knowing that we'll be safe in this current as we go along. Just trusting that flow. I often ask this as my last question. And as coaches, you and I know we ask powerful questions. What will be yours to leave behind with the audience today?
I believe that it will be about being and becoming. If you were to fully embrace your reason why, who would you become as a coach?
And again, that could be used for leaders listening to it. Who would you become as a leader? Fantastic. Beautiful, Ebru. This is where I ask you to give us some of your handles so that the people can come in contact with you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, my website is unlockpotentials.com. My email is ebru@unlockpotentials.com. Anyone who would like to reach out to me, they can reach through that. For coaching trainings, I'm part of the Academy of Executive Coaching. So in the region, MENA region, I'm part of the faculty. For any coaching trainings, they can reach out to me through Academy of Executive Coaching. And mentoring and supervision, they can use my business contact details.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate for this opportunity as well.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Any last words from you, Ebru?
Be you. Just be you. Because there is no one else like you, right? Just be you.
Fantastic.
And always remember the benefit of the whole.
Thank you. This has been a magical time. Oh.
I'm really grateful. I'm aware of it. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks for asking these beautiful, thought-provoking, heartfelt questions. I really feel that today I did something else based on my, purpose in life, and I hope it will create little, ripple effects. Whoever that it reaches to will make some kind of difference and change. So thanks for the opportunity. I'm very grateful.
You're most welcome. And that's a wrap. This has been the 100 Master Coaches with Ebru and myself, Mel, saying thank you for watching and catch you on the next one. Bye for now.
You have been watching the 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Brought to you by Catalyst Coach. www.catalystcoach.live. We will be right back with our next Master Coach on the 100 Master Coaches series.